Okay, these are my predictions for 2013's Major League Baseball season. Um, I wanted to do a write up, and I still might do a little write up. Just point out predictions or point out where I think teams will be, MVPs and things like that. But the nuts and bolts of all of this will be in this video. So um, let's get right to it. First of all, as you guys saw in the write up, I have a lot of questions, and I'm not going to talk about those again because we already asked those questions, or I already posed them, and we're going to get answers for those in the next 6 months. Basically, we're going to start with the AL East, and from what I can tell, I, I personally think Toronto wins it. I think Toronto is your American League East champion this year. That's not to say that the Rays, the Yankees, Red Sox, even the Orioles don't have a shot. I think they all have a shot personally. Um, this is going to be hands down the most competitive division we have all seen in at least the last 15 years. I have not seen a division that has a chance to be this competitive since I've been a baseball fan. I've been a baseball fan for over 20 years now. So um, this is going to be one hell of a division. Um, my main reason for picking Toronto is because that pitching. Most people know I am a huge proponent of pitching and defense, and not necessarily the three-run homer. I give a damn about all that, even though it's nice to have. I think Toronto wins that division based off of having Dickey, Johnson, uh, Romero's not there. He's back in single A. But those two guys, along with Burley, and their bullpen might not be as known, as most people think, compared to like let's say Washington or Atlanta, two of the best bullpens in baseball. But I'm picking Toronto to win that division, followed by the Yankees. They might be banged up, but they find ways. That's why I like them, because they find ways to somehow, some way, um, get things done. Now, they might be banged up, but they're going to probably still win 90 some odd games, just based off of their hitting and the fact that they have Big CC and their bullpen is absolutely phenomenal. So I like the Yankees to finish second, uh, the Rays to finish third, because also with them, I love their pitching, and of course they have Evan Longoria back and healthy and ready to go. Unlike the last 2 years where it was either a major slump or just injuries. So I have the Rays third. I have the Red Sox and Orioles battling it out at the bottom of the division, but I'm not saying at all that they won't be competitive. And I have the Orioles fourth and the Red Sox in last place. But they could win 80 games and finish in last. They could be 81 and 81 and quite possibly finish last. That's how crazy this division is. So that's the AL East. The AL Central, this is going to be quick because I'm not going to waste too much time with this. I'm not going to waste too much time with the opposite of the AL East, which is not that competitive in so many ways. The Tigers are the class of the division, hands down. They're going to win it by at least 10 games. We said that last year, and they only won by 3, and ended up having to fight tooth and nail just to, you know, um, just to win it at the end. It was we for a minute thought the White Sox were going to win it when they had the that 1 game makeup date, the 1 game makeup from a rain out earlier in the season in Chicago when Detroit lost that game toward the end of the season. A lot of people thought that was it. I know I did. Um, and pretty much the um, the rest of the division are either too young or they just don't have quite enough talent to keep up with Detroit. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Detroit wins it, followed by Cleveland, who I love. You know, when it comes to their offseason moves, Michael Bourne, Nick Swisher, even getting Marco Reynolds is a good move for Cleveland. They just need to do something about their pitching because Ubaldo Jimenez has been a disappointment since he walked into the Jake, or if you want to call it Progressive Field, I don't care. And so I definitely think that Cleveland finishes second, followed by Kansas City, who could be on their way to competing at least with Detroit. I'm not sure if they're obviously they're not on the same plane here. They're not on the same train. Um, Followed by the White Sox, and then they have such a great. They have not a great, but a really good farm system in Minnesota, but they're not good yet. So there's another team that if they don't fix their pitching, they're going to lose 95 games. So that's the AL Central. The AL West, this is about as competitive as the East, but not quite because of these guys compared to the Red Sox, who I have last in the East. That division is really good, but I think the main problem for a team in that division could be starting pitching. Not the A's. The A's have the best starting pitching in that division, but at least in my the best pitching staff overall in that division. I still like Texas because of their offense and their ability to get timely hits, compared to the other teams in the division. Like Oakland's offense it's good, but it's kind of iffy at times. At times, sometimes they can drop 9, 10 runs on you and beat you down. I like Oakland. They'll finish second behind Texas. I have Texas finishing first. I'm really interested in seeing Mike Olt and Jurickson Profar. I hope I got that name right. I'm really interested to see those two, for sure. Also, I like Oakland to finish second. And the shocker, I tell a lot of people this and everybody thinks I'm nuts. I have the Angels finishing third. I love their offense. I love their bats they're gonna beat the hell out of you some days, 15-2, because Jerry Weaver didn't pitch bad. But there are gonna be other days where they look very much like the Orioles of last year, where when it comes to slugfest. My main thing is I don't know if their bullpen can keep leads. Brian Madsen being their closer, hey, that's great, but the problem is he doesn't play much. He hasn't recovered from his surgery from last year, so or he had a setback. I'm sorry. So I have the Angels third because of worries about pitching from their bullpen and their overall starting pitching outside of Weaver and Wilson. They have guys, but it's still something to worry about. I'm almost taking 10 minutes on this video. I have the Mariners finishing fourth, and these boys, my Astros finishing in fifth place. Notice I didn't say the L word. I'm not going there. So, and our record will be 100. We'll lose 100 again. but I think we'll only lose 100. We'll go 62-100. You know, I really like our. I really like our youngsters in the farm system. I think we have something there. I mean, Baseball America even thinks so. You know, when publications start thinking you're good in your farm system, I think you're doing something right, because usually they're not too far off with their with their you know, with their comments and with their analysis. So I think with what we have with Carlos Correa, get these names down. Carlos Correa and you know, Jonathan Singleton, George Springer, Delino DeShields Jr. I just made a lot of y'all feel old with that name. Not me though. To name a few, you know, Jared Cosart, him and Singleton we got from Philadelphia and Hunter Prince deal. So we got some guys, and this year we're gonna get another guy in the draft, and probably next year another guy in the draft, and we're gonna keep building this team up until we can finally get to a point to where we can win. Not just winning games and being respectable, but we want to win divisions. We want to win AL pennants. You know, we want to get to the World Series. So this is the beginning. And are you guys going to get tired of me? No, you're not, because I'm a true Astros fan. So no, you're not going to get tired of me. I'm not going to be like, yeah, MF, I told you we were going to do this. No, I'm not going to waste my time. So that was the American League, as quick as I can put it in 11 minutes. I'll still do a little mini write-up, you know, on Facebook for the note that I usually put up. But that was it. The American League, or the National League, is in the link at the bottom of the it'll be in the right next to the words, to the letters NL. All right, so be back in a bit. Peace.